Okay, so my name is Skylar Hyde. I am a nursing student at Aiken Technical College, and today I'm going to be talking about the history of pit bulls and their original purpose, as well as their purpose in America today. So, according to Gallup, 44% of Americans own a dog, and 73% of animal owners own a dog over any other sort of animal, like a fish or a snake. Who would own a snake? I don't know. Or a cat or anything like that. So dogs are very popular. Um, so even if you don't own a dog yourself, I'm sure that we all know someone who does own a dog. So this can be, kind of relate to you in that way. I come from a family that has always had dogs, so I'm an avid dog lover, and I think that they're a great addition to a family, and they can serve a great purpose. So, in this speech, I'm going to inform you on the origin of pit bulls, where they came from, what their original purpose was, and then how they got to America, and their purpose in America once they got here, and their purpose today. So, to begin, I want to tell you about where and when they were first bred. So, pit bulls came about in the 1800s in England. They were developed originally for a sport that was legal and happened regularly in England. It was called dog baiting. It's very similar to what we know today as dog fighting, except for the difference was that dog baiting was illegal. It was a social activity that people did where they got their dogs together and they pitted them up against each other, the same way that dog fighting would happen today. So in 1830, that was made illegal, and so people resorted to having to do this kind of in secret, and that's where it got the name dog fighting, which we know today, which still happens all over the place. So what we know today as the American Pit Bull Terrier was developed in England as a result of breeding the Old English Bulldog with a terrier. And these people bred this dog specifically to be a new breed that would be a more aggressive breed towards other animals, but still very responsive and obedient to humans. And they did this because they needed to be able to control their animals during the dog fights, but they needed the dogs to be aggressive towards other animals. So another fun fact that I found while I was doing my research was that before they went to dog fighting, right after dog baiting was made illegal, they had another game where they would put multiple pit bulls in one pit together, and they would have a game where they would see which pit bull could kill the most rats, and it was called ratting. And this is actually where pit bulls got their names because it would normally take place in a pit, so they called them pit bulls, and that is where they got their name from. So going back. Shortly after the pit bull was, bred and developed, people in England started to immigrate into America. And once they got into America, dog fighting was still kind of a popular thing. But as people started, spreading out into the West, they would bring their dogs with them. And this is where the pit bull got more of an all-purpose dog kind of a job. So as people started moving into the West, the pit bull started getting new jobs like herding cattle, protecting livestock, protecting crops that were grown, and most importantly, they would protect families from thieves that were just roaming through the West, and because this is the time of the Wild West that we all know about, and also just protecting their families from wild animals and things like that. So it was a very important job that these dogs had, and and they were the perfect dog for it. They were very good at protecting their families and keeping them safe. So, eventually, the American Kennel Club was formed, and this was an organization whose desire was to, validate certain dog breeds so that they could have new competitions with what they would consider as purebred dogs. And after a long time, the American Pit Bull Terrier got a lot of popularity with the people in America. But the American Kennel Club refused to bring it into the association. So a new organization was formed called the United Kennel Club, and upon being formed, they made the pit bull, the American Pit Bull Terrier, which is the dog that we know and love today, their charter breed. So it was the first breed that they ever added to their organization, and they did this because of resounding or an overwhelming amount of popularity and hope from people that this dog would be recognized. And I found that information on realpitbull.com. So one famous pit bull, and I love this story, I just want to share this with you. One famous pit bull in history was named Stubby, and he was the mascot of the 102nd Infantry during World War II. This pit bull was with this infantry on the battlefield with them, and he was recognized for saving a number of his comrades during battle. And he actually was the recipient of a number of different medals and was made the rank of sergeant in the military. And later, after he passed away, he was given full honors at his funeral. And he was eventually made the mascot of Georgetown University, which is a very well-known university. And I found that information on by Timothy Morale. He wrote an article called Pit Bull Breed History. So, pit bulls are still very popular in America today. They can be found in many different homes, and their purpose has shifted a little bit from what it was. Obviously, in the Wild West, not everybody's a farmer who needs protection from wild animals and things like that. But today, people own pit bulls for just recreational purposes. They think that they're great dogs and they want a good companion, so they have a pit bull because they work well in that situation. An American Pit Bull Terrier that is raised in the proper way is known for having a very loyal, protective, strong, and even sensitive demeanor, and they can be very good family dogs. Despite what some people think, they're very good with other animals as long as their owner introduces them to these other animals early on in their life. That way that they know and they learn not to be aggressive, because these other animals can be kind to them and they don't have to, fight over which is the dominant animal and things like that. And again, I just want to reiterate, the way that they act does depend entirely on the way that they were raised and the way that they're taught. So, pit bulls do have a long history in America, and they continue to be a very well-loved breed today. So, I hope that you do feel more informed about where the American Pit Bull Terrier came from and what their purpose was originally in America, and what the purpose is today in America. And so the next time you see a person walking with a pit bull, I challenge you to walk up to them and quiz them on the spot about their dog and whether or not they know the history of their own dog. But pit bulls truly have had an integral part in the history of America, and it's suffice to say that the people in America may not have been the same if it weren't for pit bulls protecting them throughout the early stages of America. Thank you.